everyone, and welcome to No DQ video here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift, I got your questions regarding Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, Fastlane, lots of stuff to talk about now that we are on the road to WrestleMania 34, whether we like it or not. So let's go ahead and get started today with your questions. First one comes from good friend of the site, Outcast Kid. He did a NoDQ.com freestyle not too long ago. He was also on the NoDQ panel. With Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar officially happening, most likely the main event, for fans who don't want this, why not do this? Turn off the TV when the match takes place. Numbers don't lie, and WWE will see this. Your thoughts? The problem is fans will never do something like that. That is really the best way to stick it to WWE. If you want change, and I've said this before, if you want change, the best way you can rebel against WWE is to stop watching. Don't give them money. Don't go to WrestleMania, period. Just going to the bathroom during Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is not enough. And let's face it, nobody's going to do that. People that buy tickets for WrestleMania, they're going to watch Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Even if they boo Roman Reigns, they enjoy booing Roman Reigns. The thing is, if you want WWE to change and you're really unhappy with the direction, then you have to stop giving them money. Don't go to WrestleMania. Don't buy tickets. Cancel the network. Don't buy merchandise. All that stuff. And give it up for a while. But a lot of people would need to do that, and WWE's bottom line would have to be hurt enough for any significant changes to be made. And let's face it, we've seen the outrage. We saw it at the Royal Rumble in 2015. We saw it in late 2015 with the Tater Tots line and Reigns winning the title again. One versus all, beating Triple H at WrestleMania 32. The fans said they were going to cancel the network. They kept watching. WWE just keeps making money, and until they stop making money, they're not going to do something different from what they've been doing. So that is the reality of the situation. Yeah, it might be a cool visual on television if tons of people went to the bathroom or went to the concessions during a Roman Reigns match, but come on now. We know people are not going to do that. People say they hate Roman Reigns and they boo him, but they'll still be in their seat, standing, actually, when Roman Reigns comes out, and they'll be making noise. So it is what it is, as I like to say. Got this one here from another person who has been close to No DQ as of late. He was on Wrestling Trivia Challenge recently, Paul Jackson. Do you think Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns will be as bad or worse than Hogan versus Sid? Really, you compared it to Hogan versus Sid? Say what you will about Roman Reigns and say what you will about Brock Lesnar for that matter, but the match they had at WrestleMania was pretty good. I was there. It was a good match. It was better because of the ending with Roman Reigns, or excuse me, Seth Rollins coming out and pinning Roman Reigns to win the title. The crowd went crazy for that, but the match itself, when it was just Reigns and Lesnar, was good. It was a good match. So to say that this would be as bad as Hogan versus Sid, I mean, come on, that is an insult to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Both of them have had some really good matches in WWE. Sid Vicious, as much as I liked the character and as much as I liked the storyline with Hogan and Sid, that match was a stinker. And most of Sid's matches have been stinkers. He had a few good ones, mostly with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. But yeah, Sid was not exactly known for being a great in-ring performer. Lesnar has had some great matches over the years and even some really good ones in recent years. I think Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar will be a really solid match at WrestleMania, and with the storyline at the current rate it's going at, it could be a very intriguing matchup with WWE blurring the lines between storyline in real life, you know, bringing up the fact that Brock Lesnar's contract is expiring and Lesnar might want to go back to UFC, and all this stuff could make the match more interesting. Yeah, it's WWE's latest attempt to try and get Reigns over as a babyface by making him sympathetic and getting people to turn against Lesnar, but at least it adds some interest to the match, and let's face it, it's a lot better than that tug of war. I think the problem is people remember that more than the actual match. People remember that tug of war segment leading up to WrestleMania, and people think of that match in a negative light because of that, rather than remember, hey, the match was actually not that bad. In fact, it was pretty good. Got this one here from Ivan. Not Ivan the Terrible, but just Ivan. Hey Aaron, love the show. Keep kicking ass. If Roman Reigns gets booed out of the building after winning the Elimination Chamber, is there any chance WWE turns him heel by WrestleMania? No, I don't think so. I said this last year. I said, if Roman Reigns doesn't turn heel after beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania, they're never going to turn him. I don't think they're ever going to turn Reigns. He's past that point, like Cena was circa 2012, you know. By that point, it was clear in 2012 WWE was not going to turn Cena, and they probably never would. And Cena has never turned. Same thing with Roman Reigns. He has passed that point. WWE had opportunities to turn him heel, and they chose not to. Roman Reigns will continue to be the guy. WWE will continue to push him as the guy, and they want him to be the top babyface. Hence this worked shoot storyline with Brock Lesnar. WWE is again trying to get the fans to like Reigns. And maybe it's too little too late to get them to like Reigns coming off of The Undertaker. But they're trying. Bless their little hearts. They're trying. They're having Reigns come out there and be a badass, which is what he should have been doing years ago, coming out there and being a badass instead of talking about tater tots and suffering succotash and all that stuff. It might be too little too late, but I don't think WWE will ever give up. And even if the crowd boos Reigns out of the building and they see through the angle, which they might not, because look back at late 2015 when Vince came back and they put Reigns in the anti-authority angle. It actually worked, if only for a couple of weeks. It did result in Reigns getting some cheers, and when he won the title, the crowd popped big for it. And that was in Philadelphia, too, of all places. So it might work, at least temporarily. WWE has their gimmicks. The Shield reunion, you know, they did that to try and get more people cheering for Reigns. And now they're trying this with the work shoot and getting people to turn against Lesnar. Will it work? It might work temporarily. If it doesn't work, WWE will just keep going. They'll keep doing what they're doing. And like I said earlier, until the money stops coming in, nothing's going to change. This one comes from Joshua. If the steroid allegations against Roman Reigns are true, what do you do if you're WWE? Well, reportedly, the plan right now is to use Braun Strowman as a backup, and that's got a lot of fans upset. Braun Strowman being a backup instead of having a key match at WrestleMania set in stone. There's some talk about the idea that WWE should just do a triple threat. Now, I do like the idea of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar having unfinished business. They might as well just do the match. I think it should have been done a while ago and not do it at WrestleMania, but WWE had their plan for the better part of a year now, and they're sticking to it. This is what they wanted to do a year ago, and they never changed plans. Roman Reigns and that steroid story, if there's actual evidence, and right now it's just a lot of hot air coming out from these people that are talking about Reigns buying steroids. Until there's actual proof, WWE is not going to do anything. I'm sure they know about the allegations, and they're going to keep moving forward with their plans. But reportedly, they do have a backup plan with Braun Strowman in the event Reigns has to be suspended because new information comes to light that WWE doesn't know about. And I don't even know if it comes out that Reigns lied and that's the only thing he's guilty of knowing that guy. And if it comes out that Reigns had purchased steroids prior to his first suspension, WWE might not do anything because, as far as they're concerned, he was punished and they're moving on. Now, if it comes out that he was purchasing steroids after that first suspension, then yeah, WWE is going to be in a really tough spot for WrestleMania, no doubt. This next one comes from Rusev is Money. Hey Aaron, after falling to Roman Reigns in the Chamber, do you think that the momentum of Braun Strowman will forever be hampered by not getting over the main event hump? Good question. I don't know if that's the case or not. I feel like WWE is missing the boat on Braun Strowman, no doubt about it. Strowman, I feel like he has it. He has the it factor. He's got what Vince wants. He's got the size. He's got the look. He's great at what he does. He's believable as a powerhouse, as a monster. And as we saw a few weeks ago with the stand-up bass segment with Elias, Strowman can be the sports entertainer. He can do everything WWE wants in a main event superstar. So yeah, I think WWE's missing out, but I also think it's that stubbornness by Vince and the people in charge. They are hell-bent on making this Roman Reigns experiment succeed at all costs. Vince is the kind of guy that doesn't like to fail. And if he fails, he wants to keep going. He wants to try again. Perfect example, the XFL. And same thing with Roman Reigns. Vince wants this to work. Roman was his handpicked guy. And damn it, Roman Reigns is going to get over, pal, whether you guys like it or not. And like I said, stop buying the tickets if you want something else. But yeah, Strowman, at some point, the opportunity is going to be missed. Is it too late for Strowman? I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily over, but I feel like the momentum is cooled off a little bit. Like I said on the live video, that Elimination Chamber match reminded me of SummerSlam 2003. Goldberg was red hot. He eliminated all these guys. The crowd was just going crazy for Goldberg. And then Triple H beat him, and that was that. And Goldberg was never the same after that. So will history repeat itself? Will Strowman just never really get to that level now? Time will tell. I hope that's not the case. I hope Strowman does become a major star for many years to come, and he's got it. I think he's got it, so we'll see. We'll see if he can overcome the booking of WWE. Time will tell. This one comes from DJ Whitey. Regular Super Chat donator, by the way, during the live videos. Appreciate it, man. Ayo, Aaron, how and when do you book John Cena's record-breaking 17th world title win now that it's looking like he won't have a championship opportunity at WrestleMania? Well, this was a slightly dated question. John Cena does have another championship opportunity at the Fastlane pay-per-view. When will John Cena win the 17th title? Almost a year ago, when Jinder Mahal first won the title, I thought it was going to be WrestleMania this year. I thought WWE was going to go that predictable route and have John Cena beat Jinder Mahal. Thankfully, that did not happen. I think that was the right move. So when does Cena win that 17th title? I don't see him retiring until he accomplishes that feat. I think it will happen. Records are made to be broken. I think JBL said it. Somebody said it. I'm sure many people have said it. I think Cena will break that record. It's just a matter of when. I don't know if it's going to be WrestleMania. I don't think Cena's winning the Fastlane match. I think that's part of this whole storyline where he's just, struggling to get a WrestleMania spot. He loses again at Fastlane, and then, bam, the lights go out. Undertaker shows up. There's also this speculation about Rey Mysterio possibly facing John Cena now. So that has pretty much come out of nowhere. So it's really interesting, but I don't think it's going to be WrestleMania. When would I do it? Maybe SummerSlam, Survivor Series in LA. By the way, make sure you guys get tickets for that. NoDQ.com's 20-year anniversary. We're going to have a big party, a big celebration. I will be there for Survivor Series weekend. Make sure you head out to Los Angeles and check out that event. And NXT as well. Maybe not Raw and SmackDown, but certainly NXT and Survivor Series. So Survivor Series, maybe SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, one of the major pay-per-views. I would definitely not do it on a Raw or a random show. I would save it for a major event. But at the same time, you want there to be some belief that Cena might not win the title as well. So it's about coming up with the right opponent at the right time. This one comes from AnnaTube. Hi Aaron, what do you think of Ronda Rousey's theme song? I believe it is weak for a supposed badass dominating character. Correct me if I'm wrong here, everyone, but I believe that was her UFC theme. Am I right about this? If so, then that's what fans in UFC associate her with. Just like WWE fans associated CM Punk with Cult of Personality. And that's why CM Punk used it in the UFC, because the wrestling fans tuning in, they remember CM Punk fondly with that music. So same thing here. With Rousey and WWE, WWE's trying to attract UFC fans, and they remember her song, and that's what they recognize her for. They recognize her for that song, and that's why WWE's doing it. Yeah, they probably could come up with something else for her, but I'm fine with it, you know. She's a special attraction. So why not give her a song that's well known, you know, instead of CFOs or a WWE produced song, give her a popular song to make her stand out a little bit. So I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't see the issue with that as her theme song. This one comes from Joe Stewart. Am I the only one that liked the fact that Ronda in her promo just seemed like a normal person, not put on and taught how to cut a real promo, just seemed real and legit nervous, and WWE have done the right thing with that booking? Thoughts? Okay, I think you're asking me about what I thought about Ronda's promo, and you liked it, and I liked it. I thought it was a little rough. Maybe she was a bit nervous. On the other hand, you could say that it felt a little more real, rather than a guy who's remembering his lines and just reciting it word for word perfectly, somebody who practiced it 100 times. She just went out there and probably winged it. That would be my guess. And I think her promo on Raw was better. She had more intensity. She was more focused. So yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was as bad as some people were making it out to be. I did think it was a little rough, but it was also her first live WWE promo in a storyline. So there was probably some pressure for her, you know, despite the fact that she's a public figure and has been in UFC fights. There's still got to be some nerves involved when you're doing something new. And I think that might have played a little bit of a role, and the next night perhaps she was just more comfortable. This next question comes from Aaron Riff's cat. Cool, my cat has a Twitter account. One more step to cats taking over the world. Are today's heels the worst they've ever been in history? They can't get crowds to consistently boo them and cheer the faces. How can they fix this issue? And the cat adds, feed me more cat food as a hashtag. There you go. So, first step, social media. I've said this before. There should be separate social media accounts. One for the character, one for the person behind the character. They should be different. That is step one. Step two, tone down the charity work on WWE television, and specifically don't have heels shaking hands with Make-A-Wish kids in the front row during WWE shows. I'm talking about Stephanie. She did that at Elimination Chamber, and that kills the suspension of disbelief. WWE is like watching a movie. You want to be able to suspend disbelief. You don't want to see the villain all of a sudden in the movie break character, and do something nice, because then that person's no longer a villain. Bad guys need to do bad things. And I feel like we live in this society today where people just don't like being offended, and companies are afraid of offending people. It's fiction. WWE is fiction, just like movies. And you can have good villains do bad things. That's what makes the villain good, when they do the bad things. And you hate their guts, and you want to see the good guy take them out and overcome them. And you can tell a good story. You can tell a positive story where the villain, who might be a racist or might be homophobic or any number of things, he steals, he's bad, he treats people poorly, he hits women, any number of things you can do that would be seen as controversial. It's fiction. The bad guy does bad things, and eventually he gets what's coming to him, and the good guy prevails. And we've seen it before in WWE over the years, but now it feels like the company is so worried about getting bad publicity that they don't even develop characters that are true villains. Everyone's just a shade of gray, and it's hard to tell who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, and even the bad guys don't really do anything dastardly. I mean, I want to see the envelope pushed, and I want people to understand that fiction is fiction. It doesn't represent how the people are in real life. And people think, oh, Kevin Owens. You know, I remember this video from a couple months ago, maybe it was a year ago. Kevin Owens yelled at a fan, and the fan started crying, and people were upset about this online, on social media. People were saying Owens was out of line. He's playing a heel character, for crying out loud. That is the perfect example of what's wrong today with not just wrestling fans, but society in general, and WWE, and just everyone. Kevin Owens and all these guys, they need that freedom to go out there and be real heel villains. Go out there and do things that are considered to be wrong. They lie, they cheat, they offend other people. That's what we need. So there's my rant. Some people might not like it, but that's how I see it. Fiction and reality, you keep them separate, but in fiction, I feel art should be art. People should be allowed to do whatever it takes to succeed in their roles and make the most impact in the roles they're playing. Moving on here, I hope you guys enjoyed that little rant. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I got asked a question. I gave my honest opinion on it. This one comes from Cruz. What's more vital to the history of WWE? The rise of Stone Cold or the rise of Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania? Really difficult question to answer. You could make an argument either way. I mean, without Hulk Hogan, there would not be a Steve Austin. Hulk Hogan was the guy that put WWE on the map as a mainstream worldwide phenomenon. Now, Stone Cold Steve Austin took a company that was struggling and made it bigger than it ever was, and launched us into a whole new era of WWE. Everything that we see in WWE today, the foundation and the building blocks came from that Steve Austin era, the Attitude Era, which is what Steve Austin kickstarted. It's a really tough one to answer. I'm not sure I could even pick one. It just comes down to your own personal preference and what criteria you're looking at. Who made more money for the company? The belief is that it was Austin, even though Hogan had more longevity. Is it longevity? Then you go with Hogan. So there's all these different ways you look at it. And when I've done videos like who's the all-time greatest WWE superstar between Hogan and Austin, I've changed my opinions over the years. I mean, sometimes I would go with Hogan. Sometimes I would go with Austin. It just depends on what your criteria is. This one comes from Mr. Yuck. Just because fans want Daniel Bryan to wrestle, is it worth the risk of him being severely hurt or worse? As a father, should he know better, especially against Lesnar, Strowman, or injury-prone Rollins, etc.? I think Daniel Bryan should make the best rational decision possible. Now, if every doctor except WWE's doctor is saying he's good to go, then you can make a rational argument for Daniel Bryan wrestling again. I think Daniel Bryan will have to make that judgment call. And yeah, it is a tricky situation because Daniel Bryan is a father now. He's married. In my opinion, he should be putting his family first. What's best for his family? Does he need the money? Does he really need to wrestle anymore? Yes, he should be chasing his passions and his dreams, but he's lived the dream. He had a great career. It might have been cut short, but he accomplished more than most wrestlers will ever hope to accomplish in an entire career. Daniel Bryan has really done a lot and has really influenced a lot of people. He helped change the game. You know, I think all these indie guys we're seeing now, I think Daniel Bryan and CM Punk were the two most crucial guys in people like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn getting top spots in WWE. Daniel Bryan has a legacy, so why risk that and possibly get seriously hurt and then you're not able to spend time with your family? So it really is a balancing act, and I can't speak for Daniel Bryan. He's got to decide that for himself, what's best for him and his family. But if it was me, I would put my family first, and that's just me. But maybe if enough doctors convince Bryan and the science is there that he's okay to wrestle, then if he does it once in a while, you know, it's a calculated risk. So you really got to look at it from every perspective. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ Video. I think this was a longer video than usual, but I had a little bit of ranting and debate to discuss. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WrestleMania and Fastlane, and I will see you guys next time.